Bob Iger's handling of the Snow White disaster may very well mark the beginning of the end of his legacy at Disney. What started as a simple film project has spiraled into a full-blown crisis, one that's impacting not just the box office, but Disney's future as a whole.
They're leaning in.
Or what?
They're leaning into woke. Hardcore.
They're petrified of some kind of backlash. I mean, you see with Disney now. I mean, Disney, one of the most gay-friendly companies.
It basically, this movie was like you took the original Snow White and just put everything through this filter of liberalism. It wasn't through a filter of Japanese anime, it was through a filter of liberalism.
That's just so stupid. Like, of course you do. It doesn't need a prince to save her, and not surrounded by 7 weird people. Oh, okay, just CGI fictional goblins, I guess.
We have to look at how the Snow White remake unfolded. Billed as a modern retelling of the beloved 1937 classic, the project aimed to win over new viewers while honoring longtime fans. But trouble started early. The casting of Rachel Zegler as Snow White was immediately divisive, not because of Zegler herself, but because of how the decision was presented. Critics accused Disney of forcing modern political messaging into a story that traditionally symbolized fairy tale innocence. Rather than course correct, Disney doubled down, alienating much of its core audience. This refusal to acknowledge fan concerns turned a manageable controversy into a PR nightmare. Rather than engaging meaningfully with their audience, Disney pushed a narrative that felt out of touch and polarizing. And that was just the beginning. The film's production quickly became a mess. Delays, creative overhauls, and 3 rounds of costly reshoots drained tens of millions of dollars, without solving the film's fundamental issues. By the time Snow White hit theaters, hopes were high that it might at least recoup its massive investment. But the final box office numbers were a disaster. Globally, the film barely earned $160 million, a humiliating figure for a Disney live-action remake. For comparison, previous reboots like The Lion King and Beauty and the Beast each cleared the billion-dollar mark. Snow White's underperformance wasn't just disappointing, it was catastrophic. But more than a financial failure, Snow White has become a symbol of a deeper issue at Disney, a brand that's lost its way under Iger's leadership. Once known for timeless, family-friendly storytelling, Disney's identity now seems muddled by divisive messaging and strategic missteps. Fans feel unheard, projects feel ungrounded, and it's not just the films. Disney Plus is also floundering, with subscriber numbers slipping and the platform struggling to compete with rivals. Bob Iger's second act at Disney was supposed to be legendary. But now, it's looking more like a cautionary tale. When Iger returned in 2021, fans and investors alike breathed a collective sigh of relief. Here was the man who led Disney through its golden era, who masterminded the acquisitions of Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm, transforming Disney into an entertainment juggernaut. After the chaos of the pandemic and a rough stretch under his successor Bob Chapek, Iger's return felt like the beginning of a comeback. Instead, it's unraveling fast. The Snow White disaster. A symptom, not the disease. The Snow White remake was meant to be a modern reimagining of a Disney classic. Something familiar yet fresh, bold but respectful. Instead, it's become one of the most glaring failures in Disney's recent history. From the moment Rachel Zegler was announced as the lead, the backlash began. Not because of the actress herself, but because of how Disney handled the rollout. Public comments from the cast and studio framed the film as a rejection of the original's values, leaning hard into ideological messaging while sidelining the very nostalgia that fans cherish. Rather than listening to early criticism, Disney doubled down. And when the film finally hit theaters, the result was catastrophic. Just $160 million globally. For a Disney tentpole, that's an embarrassment, especially when you compare it to live-action remakes like The Lion King and Beauty and the Beast, both of which raked in over $1 billion each. But Snow White is just the tip of the iceberg. Streaming wars and a shrinking kingdom, while Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, and even newer contenders like Paramount Plus continued to grow and evolve. Disney Plus has been slipping, subscriber growth has stalled, cancellations are rising, and content, once Disney's strongest asset, is no longer a guaranteed draw. Despite its deep IP vault, Disney Plus is losing ground fast. Series meant to anchor the platform, like Marvel's recent shows and the Star Wars spin-offs, have delivered mixed results. The latest flop? The Acolyte, a Star Wars series that critics and fans alike have panned as one of the franchise's worst entries to date. Even Disney's once reliable cash cow, its theme parks, hasn't been immune. Attendance has dipped, pricing has alienated. Middle-class families and competition from Universal and international parks is fiercer than ever. Boardroom battles and a waning legacy. Behind closed doors, tensions have reached a boiling point. Iger's once strong relationship with Disney's board of directors has deteriorated. Sources say that a recent emergency board meeting turned into a pivotal moment. Iger proposed extending his tenure through 2028 and reworking Snow White from the ground up, scrapping controversial elements and essentially rebooting the reboot. The board rejected both proposals. That wasn't just a no, it was a signal, a sign that the board no longer believes Iger is the one to lead Disney out of the storm. Stock performance is lagging. Investors are frustrated. Shareholders want answers. And the board? They want change, soon. They've reportedly set a soft deadline for Iger's departure, end of 2025, maybe sooner if things don't turn around. The DEI debate. A corporate flashpoint that outraged. There's the issue of Disney's aggressive push toward diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI initiatives in its content. While the intention may have been to modernize and broaden Disney's appeal, the execution has sparked controversy. Many fans feel alienated by what they see as heavy-handed messaging in films and series, while others argue that representation alone isn't enough. Stories still need to be compelling. Regardless of where you stand, the backlash has grown loud enough that the board is taking notice. They're reportedly seeking a future CEO who can walk the tightrope, embracing inclusivity without alienating Disney's core audiences or over-politicizing the brand. So, what now? Bob Iger is fighting to preserve his legacy, but the truth is clear. The magic is fading and time is running out. The board is actively exploring succession plans. Names are being floated. Insiders, outsiders, and dark horse candidates. Whoever takes the reins next will be handed one of the biggest challenges in the company's 100-year history: rebuilding Disney's brand, restoring investor confidence, and reconnecting with the millions of fans who once believed in the magic. Disney is no longer the untouchable titan of entertainment it once was. It's bleeding market share, cultural relevance, and investor trust. So, what do you think? Is Bob Iger's leadership doomed, or can he still pull off a miracle? And who do you believe should be Disney's next CEO? Someone from within, or a bold new face from outside the kingdom? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear it all.